loud. Okay, perfect. We are, and I want gallery. Sometimes it only records the person talking, so that's kind of annoying, but whatever. Okay, so perfect. We are here. Happy Wednesday. So today we're in chapter 12 of the book, and it is going to be the quantum fusion technique. So you guys can both just kind of kick back. If you have your book, you can read along with me. If not, just enjoy. So the quantum fusion technique is for the person who really says, and Lord knows we can relate to this, I really want to change, but there is a part of me that just won't let it happen. So when performing the quantum fusion technique, we acknowledge this part that seems to be holding on to the past behaviors and attitudes. Now, once acknowledged, it can be fused with the part of us that strongly wants the change to occur. Now, in reality, and this is one of the things that we learn and talk about a lot in this program, both parts are positive. Right. So for a long time, we kind of tried to like shun and shame and blame ourselves into a healthy relationship with food. And we got to go, wait a minute, something's not right here. What's happening? So both parts are positive, or at least have an underlying positive intention. So I'm actually just going to mute both of you ladies, just so we don't have like distractions. But if you need something, just raise your hand or unmute. Now, when these two seemingly separate and different parts of ourself are brought together, they are much more powerful than either one standing alone. Now, most addictions or problem states, we'll call them, have counterparts. So for instance, a middle-aged woman who has a 25-year smoking habit may say, I really want to stop smoking, but there's a part of me that really enjoys the taste of cigarettes. I will first explain that she most honestly believes that she enjoys smoking, but it is more likely that she trained herself to enjoy the taste. And it started from a positive intention, not positive to her body, of course, but positive to her mind. For most people, the first inhale from a cigarette is a vile experience. Neophyte smokers usually feel sick, dizzy, and often gag or cough. Now, somewhere along the line, however, they all, quote, hypnotize themselves to believe that it is an enjoyable experience. Thus, my favorite statement, the law of mind is the law of belief, rings true. You know, it's so funny because, of course, with sugar, it's a little bit different. Like it feels like, no, I immediately am very much into that. Right? Like it's just natural to the human being. Well, what's really interesting is that we might enjoy the taste and the flavor of certain things, but the addictive kind of quality where it's like we go after it, even if it's causing us harm, that is more of a trained thought pattern and thought process. I was working with one of my clients several months ago, and she was very adamant that like, don't mess with her donuts. You know what I mean? Like, fine, I'll do like whatever this program is. I want the results. I want to lose weight. I want blah, blah, blah. But like, every time I think of a donut, like she just had this very intense attraction to donuts, and she was very defensive of it, right? Like she just like, don't talk about, don't tell me I can't have them, Rose. Like that's freaking awesome. So we did a little techniques with her where I used the quantum fusion, but more in the coaching space. We were just having conversation, and then I reinforced it with the hypnosis of bringing the two parts together. But what we found was that there was a part of her that developed when she was much younger, right? It was actually a feeling that she, like that resistance that she had of like, don't take away my donuts, actually went back to a specific memory that she had as a child that had nothing to do with donuts, but it was the same kind of emotion and feeling that she had never really dealt with. And once we acknowledged that and did some work around that attachment piece, then when she came back around, it was like, okay, well, how do you feel about the donut now? And she was like, have it or don't have it, doesn't matter. She called me 3 months later and she's like, Rose, I have like, it's not that I don't, maybe enjoy them. She's like, I've had no desire for them. Like that draw just isn't there anymore. I'm like, yes. So often we think things are so true just because we've had some experiences that say that they're true, but it's not the whole truth or the only truth. So the problem is not that these people, we're still talking about the smokers, don't believe the ability that they okay, it's not okay, I'm sorry. The problem is not that these people don't have the ability to stop smoking on their own. Same with food. I mean, we do have the ability, right? To the contrary, they have trained themselves to smoke or eat and enjoy it so much. They now need my assistance to help them stop. Now, what they need more than anything is to stop focusing on the problem and begin to dwell on solutions. Sounds simple? Well, it is simple, not always easy to do it on your own. And that's why we all have guides, right? So while hypnosis is known for helping people change quickly, I think the combined science of neurolinguistic programming and hypnosis makes it possible to guide anyone into a successful change almost instantly, right? We don't need 18 years of therapy to make the kind of changes that we want to make. I've discovered that the quantum fusion technique is extremely powerful for almost every situation. I use it with virtually all of my clients at one point or another. Incredibly, it can be used either in hypnosis or just as effectively outside of a trance state. I was once interviewing a potential hypnotist named Judy over lunch. She was an honest and enthusiastic young woman of about 30. I asked her if she had used any form of mind technology for her own personal growth. As a hypnotist, it's helpful to share personal stories with clients. It expresses one's own conviction in the power of hypnosis. Judy said she had used hypnosis to lose weight and was now eating healthy foods and living a healthy lifestyle. She then rather sheepishly admitted that she just couldn't seem to stop drinking coffee. Judy felt that her coffee habit didn't fit with her new health-oriented lifestyle, but she couldn't seem to give it up. Once we were near the end of our meal, I asked Judy if she wanted a cup of coffee. She acknowledged that at the end of the meal was her favorite coffee time. I summoned the waitress, and soon Judy had a hot, steaming mug of fresh coffee before her, and I had a cup of hot water for myself. As I looked out, as I took out my tea bag, herbal from the health food store, I began to ask her certain outcome questions. I started asking her, just what life would be like if she were totally and completely coffee free. And Margie, you know this one, right? What if you just didn't have it? What would it do for her? To my amazement, she began to describe in detail what her life would be once she was totally and completely caffeine free. As she moved further along the storyline, getting lost in her new life, I recognized the signs that she was slipping into a light trance. When she completed her story, I asked her, what stops you from attaining this goal today? She immediately began to tell me of this part of me that just couldn't seem to get anything done without the motivation and stimulation that caffeine brings. I stopped her here with a pattern interrupt by asking her to focus once again on her coffee. I then placed my hands in front of me with the palms up. I explained that it was truly quite simple. In one hand, I said, there is a part of Judy who enjoys the taste, flavor, and sensation of the coffee and caffeine. She acknowledged that this was correct. I turned one of my hands over and placed it on the table. Then shifting my focus to the other hand, and I further explained, there is another part of Judy who wants to be totally and completely caffeine free. And Judy was now nodding her head in agreement. What are the positive benefits for Judy being caffeine free? She began to list them. See, what he's doing is very specific, right? So he's having her talk about what it is that she wants. And then he's breaking state. So in the hypnosis session that you guys listen to, you'll notice I'll say something and then I'll go, and your body is relaxed. And I'll go back to the body. That's a break state. Sometimes if you're having a hypnosis session with somebody in person, the hypnotist will have the person open their eyes or even get up and walk around, right? But you can just like distract, right? Even if it's just mentally, you can just distract them for something else. Oh yeah, I have a body, and then go back into the story or the process or whatever it was. That is actually how the brain works the best. So all these studies that they do when they tell people that when you sit for 8 hours doing a job, you are so much less effective than if you were to do it for 30 minutes, get up, go to the bathroom, get a cup of water, walk around the block, take a 2-minute break, do some jumping jacks, come back to the work and work really you know what I mean? Intensely, like you would get so much more done with little breaks throughout the day. You learn better, you retain information better, things make more sense, you have more energy, you have more clarity. It's always about the little segments of time. And then always having a break. So this is just using the way that the brain naturally learns anyway. Okay, so she began to list the positive benefits. We're going back to that piece now, one after the other. And as she did, I made the impression that my hand was getting heavier, demonstrating that each time she listed a positive outcome, it began to build a resource in my hand. She was soon watching the hand as she placed layer upon layer of resources in it. It's getting, right? More and more and more. I asked whether she could, just for a moment, step into that experience and live totally and completely caffeine free. The moment she was there, I turned my hand over. I glanced at the artwork above our booth and made mention of its beauty, breaking her state, right? So being distracted and then coming back. I could then turn back to the hand holding the negative resource, the belief in the coffee, and said, what does that part of you in the past really want? Now, this is diving into that positive underlying intention. And oftentimes for most people in most circumstances, it has something to do with fun, with freedom, with safety, with autonomy, right? There's always something. And like, that's a little bit of what the donut was for my client months ago, right? It was that piece of like, don't take something away from me. I want it to be my choice. Right? Like, don't tell me that I can't have it. So again, there's always a positive underlying intention. Instantly, without any hesitation, she said, to get on with my life, to be motivated and to do the things in life that I truly want to accomplish. So interesting. Let's just recap that for a minute. What does that part of you in the past really want? The one that really believes in the coffee. And what it wanted is to get on with my life, to be motivated and to do the things in life that I truly want to accomplish. That's a powerfully positive motivation. No wonder she kept going back to the coffee, because her link, her belief was that she would be able to do the things in life that she wants to do. So powerful. I asked, is there anything stopping you from doing that as early as today? She laughed out loud and she said, well, I'm drinking coffee right now. Right? How many times have we done that? Like, same thing, right? It's like, well, I'm in the middle of eating my pizza, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. It was now my turn to laugh as I pointed out, maybe you didn't notice, but you haven't even sipped your coffee since it was served. So there it was right in front of her as he did this mindset reframe. As I picked up both hands, palms up, right? Because they're still separate, right? They're two separate me of the past, me of the future. And slowly brought them together as I began negotiating between the two. And I said, there is a part of you who wants this change to occur, and that part of you is functioning in the future now. And there is a part of you who perhaps wants this change to occur, but is functioning in the past then. As I continue to bring them together, so this is also a physical thing, right? So he's got the two different parts and you're beginning to come together and the mind is beginning to figure out how that can happen. As I continue to bring them together, I brought her to the conclusion that it's perfectly okay for the past convictions, beliefs, or concepts to be slowly integrated with the future now, which she will be living when she leaves this encounter. In truth, Judy, you don't have to make this change today. It can happen slowly. Some people simply discontinue drinking coffee on a certain morning when awakening, when they feel just good. There are mornings when you feel better than others, and it could perhaps be the day that would start a whole new life for you, the life you desire. I then gave her the opportunity to expand her success by adding, and becoming completely and totally caffeine free, it will prove to your mind that anything is possible, as long as you believe it's possible. I watched as she began to access the change and simply move to her other topics. As we broke up the interview, I noticed that her coffee sat untouched and had turned cold. As we parted, I asked her to give me a call sometime the next day. When she phoned the following afternoon, she asked about the interview and the position at our center. I told her that I wanted her to come into the office for some hands-on interviewing in which she would perform hypnosis with a client. As our telephone discussion progressed, I sensed there was something more that she wanted to say, but she hesitated and I didn't push it. Upon arrival at the office, she almost immediately blurted out that she hadn't had any coffee since our meeting at the restaurant. I smiled and I told her that I thought it was wonderful. I then asked her whether she thought she could make it through the rest of the day without coffee. She shrugged her shoulders and stated that she really didn't think it would be a problem. I promptly took her into the future with that attitude by asking whether she thought she could go through not only today, but maybe a week. Would 1 week be enough time for you to be totally caffeine free? She looked at me a little puzzled for a moment and then stated, if I could make it 3 days, it would be enough to convince me. So that's really powerful too, right? Really having the conscious verbalization, the conscious idea of how long it actually is going to take to be convinced. And it's a little bit different for each of us, right? Like, how long would you actually need to be either at your ideal weight or eating the 3 meals a day naturally for you to be convinced that that's just what you do now? Right. And sometimes it's 3 days, 5 days, a year, 15 years. Well, hopefully it's not 15 years. That's a long time. Right? But it's really very powerful to know what it is that you're looking for, to know the signposts along the way on your journey. So I'll look forward to hearing from you in 3 days, then I said. Exactly 3 days later, I walked into the office early and the phone was ringing. Before I could finish speaking, Judy's excited voice came through the line announcing that she hadn't had any coffee for 3 days. In fact, she's now carrying herbal tea with her everywhere she goes so that she is prepared for any situation. I explained that it is the process of the other than conscious mind to plan, prepare, and generate results. She acknowledged that this was just what had occurred for her. I knew Judy now had the conviction that would allow her to become a good hypnotherapist, and she did prove me right. After that, each time Judy and I went out to the restaurant together, we would both pull out our herbal teas and share a little laugh. So cool. Okay, so the main goal with most change technology, which is what hypnotherapy is to get the subject to become congruent or unified in consciousness, meaning that our subconscious mind that's running on the habits and the patterns, typically of the past, and our conscious mind that is looking into the future and wanting things to change and wanting things to be better and wanting them to be different and wanting them to be easier and wanting them to be simpler than they previously have been, right? We have these two seeming conflicting parts of ourselves. So when we become congruent or in alignment, right, where our mind and our body, our conscious and our subconscious are on the same page. Now, as long as there is separation, there will be unconscious stress. It is the purpose of this technique to bring a person together through a fusion so that all parts of consciousness are striving for the best possible outcome for the whole. Awesome. Okay, so that was just kind of like the backstory and kind of like understanding different situations where this kind of technique could be helpful. So the next part is that we're going to get into the actual script where both of you ladies can just kick back and close your eyes and receive, a live hypnosis session. So before we get into that, I would like to answer any questions and or hear any comments that you have just about learning about the technique and how it works.
I trust the process.
So cool. Just as a curiosity, because I love that you said that, and obviously you've been with me for a little while, but was there ever a time where you were like, what?
When you were reading?
No. I'm talking about like in the past year or like before you really kind of jumped into my program and started doing the hypnosis and figuring all of that out. Just out of curiosity, like, was there ever a time, like, was there any resistance, any questions that you had about it before you understood it?
I didn't have questions. but I certainly realized how effective it is. Like I didn't realize it would be so effective to just, like you said, lay back and just hear it and be with it. I didn't realize that subtly my ideas or my feelings or my behavior would change.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's really interesting. I think a lot of people kind of have a little bit of resistance to hypnosis just because of, stage hypnosis and movies and cartoons where you're like doing something that you don't want to be doing. And that was not the way that I was taught. I was taught, okay, cool, Joyce. Yeah, we'll see you later. School. Thanks. Cool. We'll see you tomorrow. That the way that I was taught is that it's, not necessarily about getting into hypnosis. That part's easy. Like literally you just close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Like, right? Like calming your mind is a really easy thing. It's about really taking our power back, actually, because we were taught what to think by lots of well-intentioned or maybe not so well-intentioned humans in the past, right? What we should think and what we shouldn't think and what's right and what's wrong, for them, but we weren't necessarily taught how to think and how our brain actually works and how to create what it is that we want, right? How to actually listen to our own inner guidance. And so to me, it's really beautiful. I know I've had some very religious type spiritual people tell me that it's against their religion to do hypnosis. And I'm like, so interesting, because the way that I see it, it actually helps you connect even deeper to the spirit of God within, right? It's like, it's our thinking that gets us bogged down. And when we really learn how our mind works and how to use it intentionally and how to really access and connect with our own inner wisdom, it's like, it just strengthens it. So there you go. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, I definitely remember that with hypnosis, I was like, I don't really understand how this is going to work, but me too. I just started listening and I'm like, oh my God, I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel more confident. Good. Cool. Okay. So Miss Margie, I am going to ask you a few questions as well. So also in this book, there's in chapter, just for anyone who wants to know, chapter 4, there's a section called outcome questions. Now, these are really powerful, and sometimes I ask all of them and sometimes not, but let's just go ahead and do it while we're in a kind of training course right now. This would be a good idea. Do you have something in mind that we could use the quantum fusion technique for today?
Like habit to break or something to stop.
Sure. Yeah. Or there's like a you of the past where you're like, oh my God, I keep doing this thing, but like, I really want this thing. I mean, you kind of, if you don't mind me mentioning something that you mentioned yesterday,
Sure.
just about like the financial abundance, right? And like
Yes.
actually having more than what you need. And you're like, ooh, I get that there's some past ideas here and there's like my future that I'm kind of playing with. That might be an interesting one to play with today.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So what is it? I'm just going to take some notes here. What is it that you would like to attain from this session today?
I would like
to a couple of words. Yeah.
Okay. I would like to be comfortable with abundance.
Financial abundance.
Yes.
Okay. And when would you like to have these changes?
In 6 months.
6 months. And how often would you need to really be comfortable with financial abundance to convince you that you've made the change?
Seven days.
Now, is there any reason that you shouldn't become comfortable with financial abundance?
No.
What stops you from being comfortable with financial abundance on your own?
I I think to have more is selfish. And for some reason, I think you're not genuine. Um, I I also think that that means you pick financial abundance over family and relationships. And you know what's crazy? I can't believe this is in there, but I think there's something in there that's like saying I don't deserve it.
Mhm. Well, the subconscious mind isn't totally logical, and it doesn't always keep up with the times.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Like it just is there. It's emotional, it's other people's stuff, it's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I mean, all of this makes sense. Is there anything else?
I just feel like it means you have to climb over somebody.
Hmm.
It's so terrible.
So there's only one pie, and if you take your piece, you're taking it from somebody else.
I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, totally common. Okay, have you ever made a similar type of change? Right. So remember, the change is to become comfortable with financial abundance. Have you ever made a similar change where you changed how you felt about something?
Sure. Um, um, I don't know if this counts. I made a decision, I had to like release the control over my kid, the
Mhm.
micromanaging. Like he's 18. I give him kind of a guideline and say, we'll talk about it later, but you need to think about these things for starting tomorrow. Um, but if it was a year ago, I would be like, you know, and I would be anxious and I would be resentful and I would be, like this. When now I'm just like, you know what? He's 18. He knows what's happening. I'm informing him what I learned at the meeting. this is yours now. I'm here to support you, but I'm not going to be responsible for it. So I have been able to let go of things and change things. You know, I changed my diet, I changed my eating habits. And that's humongous.
Humongous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what are the positive benefits of becoming comfortable with financial abundance?
Say the question one more time, please.
What are some of the positive benefits of becoming comfortable with financial abundance?
Okay, well, being comfortable would attract it to me.
Mhm.
And I think that it would make life a little easier, and I would get we would get to have experiences.
So specifically, how would that benefit your son's life?
Oh my gosh. I think traveling and seeing a different terrain, or a way other people live, or other food or music, artwork, just being exposed.
And how would feeling comfortable with financial abundance help your other relationships, your family and other relationships?
Oh, well, I was kind of a financial burden on my family, going through court things and raising a son by myself financially. I mean, they wouldn't say I was a burden, because in my family, that's what we do, but I wouldn't be waiting for them to send me a ticket to visit them all the time. I would be able to do it on my own.
So you would be able to travel and see your family more,
Yes,
and you would be able to give them gifts and
absolutely.
surprises and take them places.
Yes.
Okay, and how would being comfortable with financial abundance um, be a positive benefit to you?
I think that, um, well, I kind of roll with I roll with some ballers, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of making it happen, and they're always very generous, but I would be able to be a baller too.
Be a baller. Oh my God, I'm totally putting that in your hypnosis session. Big baller, shot caller.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Isn't it so interesting when we bring this to the surface, all of these like feelings that we just kind of hid, and then we go, oh, and let me see this for what it actually is. What is the positive underlying benefit? And obviously, to stay poor, if that's like that serves you in any way, which it does, right? If we really believe, I mean, okay, not just the deserving part, but like if we're kind of, because you're being consistent with your belief system. So nobody wants to be inconsistent with their own belief system. If you want to change, you got to change the belief system, and the rest of you comes along with it. But how awesome that it actually does all the things that you want it to do. Okay. So anyway, okay. Side. Okay. I just get so excited about this. Okay. Next question. Is there any part of you that does not want to become comfortable with financial abundance?
Well, okay, I think there is, because I'm obviously having a problem with it. but I'm going to try to think what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's not logical and it doesn't need to make sense.
I don't know. I think, um, I think I'm afraid to be perceived fancy and frivolous. So it's weird. Like, I'm afraid of being judged by people like me who judge. Like, what the hell is that?
Totally. I mean, I so hear that, exactly. And yes, we all know exactly what that
It's
is. And we all
hilarious.
know, like, we're both old enough to have seen tables turn more than once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I remember my aunt used to say that all the time. She's like, careful what you say, Rose, tables turn. I was like, whatever, you don't know anything. Then all of a sudden you're on the other side. You're like, whoa, judgy. I know, but it's anyway, we all are in our own space here. Okay, thank you for that. That was really beautiful. Is there any place that you don't want to be comfortable with financial abundance?
This doesn't make sense, but around people who don't have financial abundance.
Yes, that totally makes sense. I get it. The same with like, oh, I would totally want food freedom. Well, except for when I'm at my aunt's because they all eat and I would be really embarrassed to not eat. Even if I didn't want to eat, I would force myself to eat because everybody's eating and they'll all be looking at you like skinny bitch. It's like, I totally get it. I totally get it. Okay, so the place is so interesting how we hold each other back. It's like the weirdest thing. Thank you for that. And what will need to occur during this process today for you to become comfortable with the idea of financial abundance?
Okay, I feel like I'm going to need to understand that I am deserving. And that as long as I keep up this mindset, it's not going to change.
Yeah, what's so cool about mindset and beliefs is that a belief is just a thought that we thought over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So how rad is that? I thought it was like set in stone. I was like, oh no, it is what it is. And it's like, well, no. So we're going to practice we're not going to, because you can't go back and delete a thought.
Okay. Right,
That's
right.
not how it works.
Just counteract it.
Right. We just go, how can I soften around the edges? Support the positive underlying intention because that is strong and powerful and like solidified in the brain. So that's why I asked the questions about, because, it's like, well, why don't you want to make the change? One of the things that you said on there was, I don't want to have the priority of money be over family and friends in my relationships. So then when I asked, how does being financially independent and abundant help you? How does it help your family? How does it help your son? How does it help your relationships? And then all of a sudden the positive underlying intention is being met, but in a new and different way.
Nice.
Yeah. It's good shit. It's good shit. Okay. So just as a reminder for all of us kind of learning these different techniques, that you will notice that that all of the above questions that we just talked about, they use the what, where, how, when, with whom, because it is essential for success. I reiterate here, the word why should be eliminated from any therapeutic session.
Okay.
right? I mean, sometimes it's this particular type of therapeutic
Sure.
session, right? Like sometimes we go like, well, why do you feel that way? And we have to go do some work back there. That is not what standard hypnosis is really about. Sometimes we have to go and address stuff, but typically what we want to do is it's like, what needs to happen to actually move forward, right? Because we've all done enough therapy. We know why. Mom and
Yeah.
dad.
Thanks. I was just gonna say, thanks, Ma.
And we're both moms. So it's like really
know.
fucked up.
I know.
I
Oh
know
my
sometimes I
gosh.
look at my son and the things he says and does, and I was like, that's therapy right there. You'll be in therapy for a while, buddy.
It's humbling. You're like, whoa, you know.
Yes, I do. I do know. I do. But yeah, that's a whole nother subject. Okay, so let's stay focused.
Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to go through the script for the quantum fusion and these interview questions, even if I didn't mention anything about what we talked about. Just you having voiced everything and it's in your conscious awareness now, as we go into the process in the session, you're going to automatically take everything that we just brought up into the surface, into your consciousness, and your brain is going to place what you need where you need it through the process. So that's one of the big benefits of why I like to actually work with people. I mean, and like why I started this particular this class, why I invited all of you who are my clients to come along, is because it's different than just listening to a hypnosis session. I mean, it's good because like the weight loss program, it's specific. Okay, now it's time to drink water. Here's the session about water. Okay, now it's time for breakfast. Here's the session about breakfast, right? But to have it be a bit more personalized like this to you is really, really helpful. So that's why I also give you guys time to come and see me. And I'm doing this every Wednesday, going through a different technique so you can begin to personalize the process. Okay, word to that. And let's get set. Yeah, so you have water. Yes, we are always encouraging
Cheers.
each other. Beautiful. So you're going to want to be somewhere comfortable, perfect, where you're going to, close your eyes and relax. Sitting down or laying down is totally fine. And you are going to be having your two different hands, and one's going to be the you of the past and one's going to be you of the future. And you can either have them like, laying down by your side, but they are going to be coming together. So you want to, make sure you don't have like one hand stuck under your butt or, or even, what I mean? You want to have them open like this and, either to your side or down, whatever's comfortable for you is perfect. Okay, so we're already recording. Okay, so we're good. Okay, excellent. Go ahead now and close your eyes. Take in a deep breath. And just let it out with a sigh. Oh, you're doing perfectly. Taking in another deep breath. And this time, as you exhale, put your hands in your lap with the palms facing upward. Be sure that the hands are not touching each other. Concentrate your attention on my voice. Allow all other sounds and all other voices to drift into the background of this session today. Each time you close your eyes with the idea of going into hypnosis, you will go deeper. It will be easier and more enjoyable each time. Now, as you think of becoming comfortable with financial abundance, just pondering this thought and this idea, and imagine that this thought, this you of the future, this comfortable with financial abundance can be represented in the palm of one of your hands. Now, pick right now whether it's the right or the left hand and send your energy and your intention to the palm of that hand. Now, this hand today is going to represent the part of you that is responsible for becoming comfortable with financial abundance. Now, it's important that you realize this part of you. And as you continue to take in a deep breath, notice the relaxation flowing into the bottoms of your feet. Notice how energy follows thought, and the relaxation continues to flow through your body, just letting it all go. Now think of something that it is that you would like to change as it relates to being financially insecure, right? This chosen poverty. Now allow the other hand to represent this part of you that is responsible for this behavior. Now, the behavior that you no longer want or desire. The one that is keeping it away. Now, it's important that you realize that this part of you is not wrong. It is not broken. You created this part of you in the past for an important purpose. Right? You know the purposes. Right? It's about priority. It's about being genuine. It's about being selfless. It's about not hurting other people. You created this part of you in the past for an important purpose. Today, you will discover at the other than conscious level new ways to accomplish these goals. New ways that are just as immediate and more appropriate for where you are in your life today. Now, with this thought, go ahead and imagine the correct attitude, the appropriate beliefs that allow you to become comfortable with financial abundance. And begin to see it the way that God sees it. And all the concepts that hold those old patterns, now imagine the attitude, belief, and concepts transformed into energy. Imagine the energy starting at the core of your brain. Imagine it flowing down across the shoulder and into that hand, the hand that represents the part that controls the patterns of the past. As this energy flows down the arm into the palm of that hand, imagine it as a color. And when you have built that into a ball of mental energy in that hand, just let me know. Yeah, got it. That's right. This is the part of you that controls the patterns of the past. It is not wrong. It is not broken. In fact, it is doing a really good job. And each time that I mention the you of the past, you will think of this hand and this part of yourself. Relax and go even deeper. From here, move your attention down to the bottoms of your feet. Notice again how energy follows thought, maybe even give the toes a little wiggle. And just as you thought of the feet and then the ankles, the blood flows freely there. Relaxation follows thought. Let yourself go. Feel a flow of relaxation up through the legs as the hips relax. Now the lower part of the body is going loose, limp, and completely relaxed. Take in a deep cleansing breath. And imagine deep inside there is a part of you that is capable of solving the problems of the past. This part of you will consider the you of the future. This part of you knows your underlying positive intent and knows how to accomplish your goals in a safe, loving, wonderful way. All you need to do is relax. Relax and imagine the correct attitude, beliefs, and concepts for success. What true comfort, stability, with financial abundance really gives you. How it enhances the life of your son and your loved ones. It allows you to do more and see more and be more. And then as you convert these into mental energy, imagine this mental energy moving from the core of the brain down across the scalp, facial muscles and tendons, flowing all the way down to the other hand, the hand that represents the you of the future. Confident, comfortable, abundant. The part of you that knows exactly what you need to see, what you need to hear, how you need to truly understand how deserving you are. So ready to change your mindset and allow the spirit within to guide you. And as the mental energy flows down into that hand, it builds into a ball of mental energy. And give it a color. When your hand has filled with a ball of mental energy representing this part of you in the future, comfortable with the financial abundance that is yours. Give it shape, form, and color. And when you have this in mind, just let me know. Excellent. Got it. You're doing great. Notice the level of relaxation in the shoulders. Now, just a moment ago, I asked you to close your eyes. Imagine in one hand the patterns of the past, in the other hand, the patterns of the future. Now, in a moment, these two seemingly different parts are going to agree to work together. From a deep, meaningful place at the other than conscious level, now. From here, these once separate parts will learn to work together. Even as you listen to my voice consciously, there is a part of you that is listening at the other than conscious level. That's the part of you that knows exactly what to do to bring these two together. It could happen physically. You could feel a magnetic effect as the two different balls of energy begin to merge. They begin to be drawn together as if the two hands are wanting to come together, working out all the details of the past and all the details of the future in the most loving, kind, and powerful way. Imagine the you of the future journeying back through time, back to the very beginning of time for you, back to the time when you would have needed these resources the most. Imagine how things could have been different. Imagine the you of the past journeying ahead in time. Notice the day-to-day changes as you use more and more of your mind's potential. Again, both with their positive underlying intention. As you listen to my voice, I want you to notice your body relaxing, each time going deeper than the time before. From this deep inner place, imagine the hands continuing to come together. Now, this could be physical. I can see them just about touching now. And as they do touch, these two balls of mental energy come together to form a new color. Imagine this new color as if you were breathing it into your lungs. Then from your lungs into your bloodstream. Imagine in your mind's eye that your heart is circulating these new ideas. So loving, so kind, so compassionate, so comfortable. These new concepts, every cell, every organ, every system, every thought, every idea, every feeling, your body. As these two different parts of you come together, you become more and more aware of the new you. This new you has all the skills of the past, has rehearsed the new future. In fact, it's even moved through the days, the weeks, and the months to come. This part of you understands the truth. The truth is that no part of you is wrong or broken. The quote parts simply need to be retrained. It's like a re-education process and updating. Trained to operate in a new time with new skills, skills that will help you to accomplish your goals. And each time that you practice quantum fusion, you will find it more natural to work within yourself. It is this incredibly flexible part of you that I am speaking to today. So this day, you have decided to make a change, a positive change. I want you to take these once separate, now together parts of you into the future. Imagine that they will work together consistently, day after day after day after day. Notice how good it feels after 7 days of consistently knowing your worth, consistently being comfortable with financial abundance. Now imagine how this will work for you in the future. If there is a problem in the past, you will dream of the solution in the future or present, letting yourself go. If there is a problem in the future, you will inventory your past skills and create a solution. You are becoming solution-oriented. Every day in every way, you are getting better, 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 and better than the day before. Through the amazing power of your imagination, the past and future have now come together to help you attain your goals. Fill your body once again with this new color. Imagine your body like an empty glass container. Your body fills with this new color, your personal color of power. So that when you see this color in the world, It will remind you of the decisions that were made here today, of how it is absolutely okay and meeting all underlying positive intentions for you to feel comfortable with financial abundance. The decision to live a life in a state of harmony, peace, and abundance, knowing that all behaviors are positively motivated. And as your mind thinks of the positive results of this process, other things begin to change. Some of them are conscious to you, and you recognize that a change has occurred. Most will be unconscious. You will simply be making positive and beneficial changes with no conscious effort at all. The motivation and desire will be generated unconsciously. You can begin to slowly return now into the room, but only as slowly as you can imagine the days, the weeks, even 6 months into the future to come. And when you come to that day in the future, when you are convinced that all the changes are made and that every day in every way your life is improving, then you can open your eyes and fully return back into the room, taking all the time you need, saying to yourself now, wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health. And this is so.
And this is so.
Amen.
That was so good.
Oh, man.
Rose, it's good. I can feel it. I know it. It's not even going to take 6 months. Ideas are going to be flowing in me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, it is. All right, so make sure that you drink some water.
Okay.
Let it happen, let it flow. And I really look forward to continuing to hear how this unfolds for you. That's one of the things about hypnosis too, you guys, is that sometimes we can get right back into our logical mind and want to talk about it. But the best thing is just to let your brain chill. It's working out all the details. So just let it chill and drink some water and enjoy the day.
Okay.
All right, go to work, girlfriend. Thanks for letting us work with you. I'm so glad that you came. So glad that
Oh
you were
my
here.
God, it's awesome. I'm so glad I came. I I come every time I can.
I know.
Okay.
Awesome. All right,
Have a
love you,
good
babe.
day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.